Welcome to another episode of Top Lines and Tales, the world's favourite livestock podcast. And as always, we'd like to thank our sponsors Harborough for their continued support. And this week we go across the world, all the way to Australia. This week it is a live broadcast, and I don't have the most sophisticated equipment, as those of you all know have been interviewed by me in the past there. So there will be a little bit of background noise in some of these, but I think it all helps to add to the atmosphere of this live recording. So here we are this morning, Top Lines and Tales Down Under, as I've made the trip all the way to Australia, and I'm here at the World Angus Expo, and what a fantastic exhibition it is too. Three times maybe the size that I thought it would be. We're here there on a mission to sell a few Angus history books, and I'm also going to catch up with a few people, and one of my main missions here is going to be to catch up with some of the young breeders, some of the ones that have been sent in a team over from British Isles and from Ireland. The young ones are competing here today and tomorrow, and hopefully going to catch up with them before they get into the event. And I'd also like to speak to somebody in the showground a little bit more about what this event means and what this whole exhibition hall is about. So I've got with me now James and Ellie from the team coming over from the UK and Ireland for the youth competition over here. And you guys have been here a few days, yeah?
Yeah, so we arrived on Sunday, spent the first half of the week, I suppose, getting over the jet lag and introducing ourselves to the other competitors, trying to settle into the country and acclimatise to the heat. The latter end of the week we've now started into the competition section, so we're on day 3 of competing now. This morning we've been carrying out some modules. They're there to help us, suppose, with the competitions to come later on through the weekend. Yesterday we were very fortunate. We were at a meat factory for the carcass end of the competition, but I'll let Ellie explain a bit more about that.
Go on then, Ellie.
Yeah, so yesterday we competed in carcass judging. This was a bit more complicated than we normally do at home, so we were not just judging full carcasses, but also we're looking at strip loin primals, had to place carcass based on eating quality and place carcasses based on the price per kilo that they would see. So I think the Australians potentially had a bit of an advantage in this, but I think we were all pretty happy with how we did in the end.
Yeah, home advantage. But I mean, how did you find the carcass traits and the way that the cattle are cut and graded different here to the UK? Have you had experience of the Australian way before?
Potentially not the Australian way. One of the main things we noticed yesterday, we were handed the sheet of what we had to grade them on, and it said about hump size, and obviously we were not used to that at home, so we were mainly faced with a lot of Brahman cross cattle yesterday, so it was quite interesting to see the layout of that carcass. They grade them slightly different to us. They're really focusing on the ribeye for marbling, and also the volume of meat, the meat yield within the carcass. Compared to home, we'd be used to obviously looking to a carcass with more conformation through it and probably a more even fat cover. It was quite interesting to see the colour of the fat was very different to home, quite a pale colour, and the animals were definitely covered in a very different, unusual way. We see the hind quarter lacked fat, but rib covering was very heavy across the carcasses.
Certainly, and obviously the Wagyu and things are coming in here as well, but they're very big into the eating quality. To them, it's something that the animals are judged on much more so than we do in Europe.
Yeah, I definitely think eating quality is a massive part to play in it, especially with Aberdeen Angus breed. That's what we're trying to market to show we have a premium product there. You can see both sides to the system. They were, as we work on rewarding a carcass, they were very much in their pricing. We're picking the faults and reducing down from that. It's a very interesting system, and it's definitely something I could see working at home with us, but whether we're willing for change yet or not, that's the big question.
Well, certainly the Americans do the similar thing as well, going down that route, and I think there's a storm brewing, I think, maybe coming back into our side of the world. And tell us a little bit more about the competition. I was watching you guys just now with the drafting competition. Couldn't quite work out what was going on there. I hope you guys knew what you were doing.
Yeah, so we had a module earlier in the week with a lady that was talking about stockmanship and working the globe of the eye. So at home we traditionally think about the shoulder as the point of balance when moving cattle, but her ethos is working the eye to get to apply pressure to get animals to move in the way that you want to.
Okay.
We've also done some other modules, so we've done some EBV selection, so select some bulls based on a scenario. We've been given some team stuff where we had to get a tennis ball onto a post whilst blindfolded, with James directing us. And
How did that go?
Actually, James
Better
was
than expected.
The blind leading, the blind. Excellent. Okay, and there's a clipping competition going on. That you all go in for that, or is it just to select a few of you?
So it's very open. It's up to teams. We're being tested how we work as a team and how we present ourselves for each challenge. So this morning we were in the shed from 6:30. We had the handover of cattle with the breeders. So we've been delegated 2 heifers. 2 heifers very similar to what we'd be used to at home.
Okay.
We were shocked with the hair covers we've got to work with.
Mm-hmm.
So now it'll just be working out what products and clippers to use to suit them, because judging by the rest of the cattle, they aren't used to dealing with hair. So we're comfortable with what we've been presented with.
Okay,
so
is there plenty of hair on them? Is what
plenty
you're
of
saying?
hair, yeah.
That's good.
So the plan is we have Graham and John, 2 exceptional clippers. So they're going to take charge in that section. The way we've decided, we're very fortunate with the team, the way it was picked. We all have our own strengths, so
Yeah.
definitely for that, Graham and John will be taking
Okay,
the
and
lead in
they
that.
were the ones that won that side of the competition.
Yeah.
When you came through that. And the selection process for the YDP at the UK and Ireland has been going on. You've been 12 months. Have you been going through a selection to get this far?
Yeah, so the selection process probably started last Christmas time. The society released an application form, so we applied, sent in, talked about ourselves, why we would make the most out of the experience, what we think we would achieve, what we would hope to achieve from it. Out of that application process, 20 candidates were then selected for interviews. So we went to Pedigree House in Perth for interviews. The interview was a 5-minute presentation followed by 5 minutes of questions and then a challenge. So the challenge was we were presented with a tray with 6 sections of meat, and we had to distinguish where they were from in the carcass, how to cook them, and what we thought of them quality-wise.
Okay.
We were also tested that evening. We were invited out for a meal, and it was to see how we interacted as a group, and that's something that has definitely been picked up by the judges so far, that we have quite a close bond compared to the other countries. The Australian, obviously, is such a vast country, it's very hard for them to meet up and stuff, so we've definitely made the most out of the last year with training weekends and trying to build that bond.
And some of you guys will have known each other even before you got this far, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we've all been competing through the World Angus Youth Development Programme at home, so it's definitely, we're used to competing against each other rather than with each other, but you can definitely see that friendship's there, and it's very useful.
The British Lion scenario, isn't it? Yeah, beating each other up.
Bringing us all together.
Yeah, no, brilliant character building, and it's great for the future of you guys. But the whole YDP thing is a fantastic organisation. The opportunities that it gives to everybody. I mean, you've reached a pinnacle, and congratulations to you. But there's a lot of people that will have earned a lot out of the YDP as well, haven't they?
I think we're very fortunate, the 4 of us, to have the opportunity to come over here and represent the society, but I think it gives the younger generations, it shows them what you can achieve through the YDP programme, and you can take it worldwide.
Yeah. And how many teams are competing in this, remind me?
So there's 12 teams competing.
12 from all over the world?
All over the world. For the first time this year, there's a team from Czech Republic, so the first mainland European team that's competing, and within the 12 there's 2 barbarian teams.
Okay.
So Ocean from Republic of Ireland, who was the reserve for our team, is competing in the barbarian team.
Okay, yes, I saw that his name was on the sheet. No, that's brilliant. Well, I won't keep you because you've just finished your one competition, and you're now going to go into the 2 or 3 more competitions today and tomorrow. We're carrying on through. When does this finish, and when do you get to learn the results?
So the competitions finish up on Monday evening.
Right.
We're finished, so we're actually going camping as a group to just try and relieve that stress and pressure and celebrate sort of the hard work that we've done. The results will be at the end of next week, so it'll be a long week waiting to see how we've got on, but it'll definitely, it's been a worthwhile experience, whatever happens. The contacts we've made has been exceptional. We've been speaking to people all over the world. My biggest fear coming here was probably worrying about how I was going to be able to introduce myself and talk and make connections, but it's been world class. We've already arranged trips to go and visit some of the fellow competitors when the competition's over.
Fantastic. Well, James Morrison and Ellie Westaway, and just tell me the names of the other 2 competitors as well.
So we've got John Smith from the Republic of Ireland and Graham Ryan from Scotland.
So all 4 countries represented anyway. The Welshmen missed out on this one. But no, that's brilliant. Well, we wish you really great luck with the rest of it, and I'll maybe try and catch up with you or the rest of you. Maybe at the end of the day, if you guys are winding down for a beer or something, we'll catch you maybe when you finish today or tomorrow.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Best of luck to you both.
Thank you.
Cheers. Now, I've been talking to the UK team. Now, I've got one of the Australian team. You're the hot contenders, you guys. What's your name?
Lachlan Moore.
And so you guys, you're pretty happy with your chances coming through with this, the prize for the. Are you confident?
Oh yeah. No, we've worked pretty hard to get here, and we have a good teamwork, and that's so no, we're pretty keen. We're going to be good.
Good. And Ryan here. What's been your favourite part of this?
Probably the Sydney Harbour cruise. That was pretty.
No, you're supposed to say all the cattle you're working with.
Oh yeah, that too.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it's been good fun. Just did the fitting competition, which was nice. So,
yeah. And are you a cattle fitter? Is that what you do?
Not very good at it, but we'll give it a go.
Okay. I was a cattle fitter all my days. I was pro for many years. So I worked all over the world. I've worked in Australia as well. So, and this was Monty. So you're a cattle fitter as well. Were you part of that team?
Yeah, I was part of that team. Yeah, we went too bad. We didn't get to pick the animal we would like, but still a good beast, and it was good.
I was talking to the Scottish guys earlier on, and they said they got the good hair on their beast. You got good hair on your beast to work with?
No, ours is pretty fair, yeah, compared to a lot of the other cattle, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Good. And you got a few more competitions to go yet, so what else is happening?
And right now we've got the Stockman Challenge.
What does that do?
So a bit of everything, like fencing. We don't actually know yet because it's meant to be a surprise. But,
okay.
A lot of camping stuff, just sort of bush stuff, what you do out in the farm day to day. And then tomorrow we got judging and a parade, I think, too.
Do you all judge in the judging, or do you just pick a couple of you from the team?
Just two from each team.
Two from each team, You one of them?
Not sure yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's good grounding though, isn't it, for youngsters? I mean, I've always helped and sponsored youngsters and put a lot back into the industry. But these young things are fantastic. That's what turns you into judges in the future. And you learn by your mistakes and fall on your sword, but be confident with it. That's the thing. Isn't it? Yeah. And you guys are through till is it Monday before you get to? No, it's the end of the week before you find out, isn't it?
No, so we're here in Kenworth till we leave first thing Monday morning, I think. And then we make our way north, and then we won't really find out the major results until is it Wednesday?
Oh,
Thursday
that's the tender hooks this week then, isn't it? We're having a few quiet beers there and just hoping for the best, crossing your fingers. And you said there's 3 teams from Australia, is that right?
There's 3 teams. So we're the Red Angus team because our societies are not merged. We're 2 different societies. So we're the Red Angus team, and there's 2 Angus teams. Okay. Well, I wish you all best of luck, boys, and I know you've got rush after doing the next thing. There's best of luck to all of you guys, and thank you very
keep
much.
on keeping on and make a career out of it. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you guys.
Very much.
Cheers.
Nice meeting you.
Cheers. See you then. And I managed to catch up with Erica Halliday. And Erica, well, nice to speak to you on our podcast. And you, as well as running a top herd of Angus cattle here and being a world-class cattle judge, today have just won the Supreme Champion Penner Bulls.
I know, we're just absolutely over the moon and totally unexpected because there's a lot of really good cattle here, and we're just very humbled by that.
Yeah, well, fantastic! What a great success, and you had good success yesterday with the heifers too.
Yes, we won the first place in our heifer class as well. So and they're daughters of some of the donors that we're offering embryos out of. So we're pretty stoked.
Well done. Well, the reason I really want to congratulate you is this event because it's just monumental, and the facilities and everything so brilliant. But I mean, you're chairman, you're in charge, you're the boss of this thing.
Chair of the World Angus Forum Committee, and we have a committee of just the most diverse, creative, beautiful people who said, well, this is ambitious, and one in particular, Ben Hill, said this is really ambitious, this is what we'd like to do, this expo in the middle of what's a very conventional format for a World Angus Forum, and look what's happened. And it has because of the staff at Angus Australia. So Scott Wright's support, particularly Jake Phillips here with the Expo, he's done a momentous job. And then all the staff have just really stepped up. And
let's just talk about this facility for a minute. I mean, this is just unreal. I've spoken to people about how the facility operates the whole year round, but it's just a perfect place for something like this, isn't it?
It really is. And, Australia's a really big place. We hold the roundup here with the kids. We've done that twice now. And that's the first thing they say. It's an amazing facility for cattle and for people. And it's nice and central geographically.
Sure.
Of course, we'd like to go all over Australia, but it's a very big place. So this one captures a lot of the Angus.
And you're fairly local to here?
We're local to here. We're only lucky to be only an hour and a half away. But there's people that have come from Mortlake in Victoria where there's terrible drought. So, we've been very fortunate.
No, it's successful. And the numbers of cattle, are you pleased with the numbers of people and exhibitors and that turn up? Are you oversubscribed? How's it gone?
Oversubscribed. Over the moon. 450 head of registered cattle, which is the largest gathering of registered cattle as we know it in the Southern Hemisphere.
Really? Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so we brought people from over 60 countries, and so they're here, get to see a nice sort of range of Australian cattle here today.
Yeah, and also, of course, the people that are here on the tour. I mean, there's 4 or 5 buses touring around, been doing it now for a week or 10 days, and that sounds acceptable. Have you been on some of those?
Yeah, I've been on all of those buses, and I think that's part of the vibe that we've got. You know, when you go on one of those World Angus Forum tours, they are just very special because you just bowl up to anyone, say, hi, my name's here, I'm from here. And that whole vibe and energy and friendliness has sort of taken over this whole showground. I don't know if you'd noticed.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everyone's just saying everyone's so friendly, everyone's so happy, over the moon. Couldn't be happier.
And business-wise, for Australia, you said you've got people in diverse countries all over there. Is that helping for business, you think? Is there Australian genetics going to go out of the country because of this?
I think it will. So there's a couple of firsts that are happening here. In the last couple of years, we've had the World Angus evaluation, which allows us to compare Australian, New Zealand, US and Canadian genetics head-to-head.
Okay.
And at the same time, we've had sort of loosening of export and import protocols around the country. Not enough yet. It needs to happen a bit more. But normally there's trade of genetic material from the US to Australia. We're starting to see it go the other way.
Yeah, and then there's been word around, or a bit of a buzz around here, that since the Americans have sort of fallen out with the Chinese a little bit, that the China market might open up for Australia to start shipping embryos maybe over there.
Yes, of course. And I think global is becoming smaller for us, and I think that the diversity that we've got in the Australian market has a lot to offer countries all over the world. Yeah. And the fact that, you know, Australia's a pretty harsh country to grow cattle in.
Yeah.
So if we can do it this well in these harsh conditions, from temperate to rainforest, deserts in between, then, you know, we have some cattle that could perform very well all over the world.
Yeah. Let's just move on to your own, just briefly on your own herd. So Ben Nevis Angus, we know where Ben Nevis is. It's a mountain in Scotland. So why Ben Nevis and her?
We've got a great mountain just up the hill here. I keep telling the Scottish that, but they're not buying it. So we came from there in 1860, and that's actually, we came from Scotland too, where we are now in 1860.
Oh, wow, okay. And how long's the Angus been on the go?
So our stub was started in 1947, but we first got Angus in 1926.
Right, okay.
Yeah, so
100 years is coming up.
Yes. So my family have been zealots for Angus for a very long time.
Brilliant. And they said highly successful, and a name that we see all over the world, your genetics. So you're one of the top herders here as well. And well, congratulations on that. As I said, congratulations on the herd and the winning today, and of course this fantastic forum.
Yes, going to treasure this one for a long time. Thank you very much.
Well, we'll certainly remember it as well, because it really made us welcome. So it's been superb.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. Okay. So after speaking to one of the organisers of the World Angus Forum, I was intrigued to know a little bit more about the facility that we're actually here exhibiting at, and I managed to catch up with Hannah. So I'm having a chat with Hannah Murray here, and Hannah, you've been very much involved in the actual, it's a fantastic facility they have here in Tamworth. It's just so lucky to have, and you've been involved in the facility as well, not just the forum, but the whole place. Tell us a little bit more about this facility here at Tamworth.
Thanks, Andy. Yeah, I've been lucky enough to be involved in a variety of events here at the ALEC, the Australian Equine Livestock Events Centre.
Okay.
It's the largest multi-purpose of equine and livestock events centre in Australia.
Yeah.
Here in Tamworth, but we've been involved in a number of equine events here, but it's great to see it being utilised for a livestock sort of exhibition like this. And it's a pretty amazing, it's a really versatile space. We've obviously seen them pull a number of stables out of the blocks to accommodate the cattle and display them as well as we've seen here.
Oh, but I'm hearing that it's used pretty much a lot of the year here, 30 odd weeks of the year or something this thing's operating.
Absolutely, it's quite hard to get a date here now. It's so booked out, which is great to see. It's been an amazing investment for Tamworth and the community here. And it's certainly put it on the map. And where did that investment, 10 years it's been here or so, where did that who came up with the idea of building, I would say in the middle of nowhere, that's not quite fair, but who came up with the idea of building a wonderful, for those, you can't see this as a podcast, but there's, a dozen massive halls here, there's 2 arenas, it's a vast space. Who came up with the idea of building that here in Tamworth, and why? Well, it absolutely was an initiative of the Tamworth Regional Council.
Okay.
And they, I guess, I came up with the idea to have it here because Tamworth is quite a large regional centre for New South Wales, and obviously quite accessible for a range of people to come and attend events here. We've also got a good quality airport here, so it's it's been a great thing for the town. But has certainly, the town's been able to accommodate it as well.
And was it the equine side of it then that got this thing built? Was it? So it's quite a horse area around here, isn't it?
Absolutely. Like last night we saw the Australian sport of camp drafting. That's a very popular one that we see a lot of events for here. And performance horses in terms of Western sports, from cutting to camp drafting, but it's used for English disciplines as well: dressage, eventing, show jumping, everything. Pretty much any sort of event that you can imagine, they can host it here at ALEC.
Okay.
They've had miniature ponies, they've had motor shows and bike shows and that sort of thing.
Well, of course, Tamworth is renowned for its country music as well, and I think that part of that is here as well, isn't it? The music festival.
Yeah, absolutely. And during the music festival, they run the ABCRA's Rodeo National Finals out here.
Okay.
So there's always a lot happening, and we certainly enjoy an array of events here in Tamworth, and it's been great for the region's economy. I suppose it's been really invaluable.
And you are a presenter, a TV presenter. I'm not quite sure how you handle yourself there, but you've been involved very much in this for a while at this place, because you're local to here, are you?
Yes, relatively local. We have a mixed farming operation with some Angus, may I say.
Okay.
Angus produces out about an hour and a half out at a little tiny town called Blackville in New South Wales here. But yes, I've been involved in a number of events here, but it's something that I really enjoy. And the team here at ALEC do an amazing job, and we've seen how much synergy and ease and smoothness there has been in the running of this event. That's thanks to all the work they do behind the scenes.
Certainly, absolutely run like clockwork, the whole thing. Well, it's run like somebody who knows what they're doing. That's exactly what it is. And people who do it all the time. And I get involved in agricultural shows, but they're only once a year, and they have a group of people that meet a few times, and then all hell lets loose on one day. But you guys, there's just enough people here that you ought, I suppose, a lot of fully time employed people here are there to run this thing.
Absolutely, it's a relatively small team, to be honest, so they really punch above their weight. But that's where it's the event centre's, I guess, contribution to the region is really felt, because there's a lot of contractors involved here in different events. And week to week, so it's been a great thing for the town and a lot of small businesses. Yeah,
and the hotels as well. I noticed somebody stayed in our hotel last night and said there was the last room left in the whole town, I think, so it obviously brings a lot to the town in the economy and for people coming in.
Absolutely, and look, there's events coming up like the NCHA Cutting Futurity. It runs for 15 days,
right.
So people will spend 2 to 3 weeks here in town, and obviously go in and spend a lot of their money in Tamworth.
And they have horse sales here as well, I believe. There's been quite a big sale that's gone recently.
Yeah, absolutely. So I've been lucky enough to have done a lot of work with Nutrien, who, the Australian contingent of Nutrien run the largest performance horse sale in the Southern Hemisphere here. 10 days, a lot of camp draft incentives. It's a bit like the Magic Millions, if you've heard of that.
No, I haven't.
It's a huge racing incentive here in Australia, but it's a similar concept in that you buy horses from the sale and you can come back and compete for those incentives in the future.
Okay, I see that. And the camp draft is on, I believe, somewhere around here. I'm going to go and find it just now. Something I've never heard of, but it's in Australia, but a massive sport in Australia, isn't it?
It sure is. It's the fastest growing sport in Australia, and it's, I guess, we can sort of relate it to some of the cow horse sports or the cutting that you do see in North America.
Okay.
But it is quintessentially, uniquely Australian sport.
Just explain to me a little bit, to our listener, a little bit what the camp draft is.
So it does involve, I guess, a cutting component. So the rider and horse will enter the camp. They have between 6 and 8 head of cattle to choose from, and they select one and do some moves at the front of the camp, which is like an enclosed yard.
Yeah.
And when they're ready, they'll call for the gates to open, and then they take that beast in a figure of 8 sort of pattern. And there's 2 pegs and a gate at the end.
So they've got to drive the animal around. I'm going to have a look at it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So they have to, it's at pace. Like there's a lot of, it's pretty exciting to watch.
Against the clock?
There is 40 seconds once you're outside to complete the course, and then it's scored out of 100. And there's degrees that there for coursework, horsework, and of course how many, and your cutout score as well. So there's a lot of variables. It's a tricky sport to really excel in, but we've seen some of our best horse and rider combinations here, and it's been really good viewing.
And you talk about the combination. I saw cutting in the USA probably 25, 30 years ago, and talking to somebody there, and they're saying the quarter horses are specifically bred for the cutting horses, and they need a little bit of cow in them, is what they say. So it's could anybody ride one of those? Would the horse do it on their own, pretty much?
Look, there's so much training that goes into it, but it is. I guess it originated from stockmen in outback Australia who were competing, I guess, for bragging rights as to who had the best horse skills. And it's become this huge professional sport here. But we do have a combination of the American quarter horse genetics, but also the Australian stock horse genetics. The athletic ability and the ability to sort of get some pace and run to a cow, is between the two breeds. So there's a mixture there, but certainly the Australian stock horses and certainly been a traditional user for the sport.
I mean, some of these quarter horses I've seen in the US are making multi-millions. Are they the same here? Some of these things are really expensive.
Yeah, look, at that nutrient sale earlier this year, they've had some huge results in the last few years. Like, that market has just exploded here.
Okay.
And it's obviously, that a lot of our camp draft competitors are cattle producers themselves.
Yeah.
But a lot of them now we're seeing coming in from outside of the beef industry, and getting involved in the sport as a hobby, and it's amazing to see the growth of it across Australia.
Okay, brilliant. Well, Hannah, it's been a pleasure to talk to you. You were interviewing me yesterday, so I hope you don't mind me interviewing you on a different subject, but that's super to speak to you, and I really am so impressed. I just want to take this whole place and move it into Europe, because we don't have anything, the facility quite like this in our Northern Hemisphere, I'm sure.
Well, we'd welcome you, Andy, and anyone else from Europe back here anytime. It's been great to showcase what Tamworth has to offer here, and as a local, it's really proud to see an event like this here.
Brilliant. Well, I'm absolutely loving it, so great to speak to you. Thanks.
Good on you. Thanks, Andy.
Okay. So I'm having a chat with Rob Gilchrist, the CEO of the Aberdeen Angus Society, of course, in UK and Ireland, and Rob's made it all the way across the world, the same as I have, Rob, and what a great trip this has been.
It's phenomenal, Andy, phenomenal. The Australians have pulled out all the stops. I think, we're where are we now? We've been on the tour since Tuesday, here we are Sunday, and, the farm's been fantastic, the hospitality's been fantastic, and the events, they put on some cracking events, from the opening event to this here in Tamworth. Wow, what a show.
It's unbelievable, isn't it? I mean, everybody's saying the same thing. It's spectacular to have the balls to say, right, I'm going to do one event just for Angus and get this many people and this many cattle to it as well. I spoke to Erica this morning and she said they have a great team around her, but they've really, as you said, they pulled out the stops and they made it work, made it fun.
I mean, I suppose when you look at the country and you look at the time that it takes to get from place to place, if you're going to do a forum to hit every herd in the country, you'd be here for years. My beard would be even greyer than it currently is. So at least this way, everybody gets an open opportunity to come here and show the world what they have. And let's be honest, what they have, there's some cracking cattle out there.
Yes, they have. And from your point of view, has it been worthwhile? Have we forged some great links with the British and Australian genetics?
I think not only do we have great links with the British and Australian genetics, we've also got great links with the societies. Not just with the Australian Society, but with all the societies. I think it's a word I used in the debate yesterday, but it's an Angus family.
Yes.
We're one big Angus family, and I think it's fantastic the way we can all lift the phone to each other, ask questions, and help each other out, and just do it for the good of Angus.
Right, it's a global product, and we've got a global family.
It's a global product, it's a global brand, Andy, and genetics today, it's not like you've got to put this animal on a boat and wait a while. You can stick a flask on a plane and have it the other side of the world in a very short space of time.
Exactly.
So the opportunity is there for guys from this end of the world to take stuff to us, and for guys from our end of the world to come back here. And I think that's the other important factor you've got to remember is there's opportunities exist outside the UK as well. Yes. And I'd really like to see over the next few years our guys exploring those export markets, because it really helps put a floor on our markets.
Yes, indeed it does. And from, you mentioned debate just now, I'll talk to another debate, because the other thing I've been doing is following the young breeders who've been down here, the four fantastic youngsters that you said down here, Ellie, Graham, James and John. Four great youngsters, and they've really been holding their own in this young competition.
They really have. We're really proud of the effort those guys have put in. They've been deadly. I mean, the debate this morning, they knocked it out of the park. It was fantastic to watch, and Graham, James's closing line out of that debate was a brilliant close out, and I think that they've put in a really strong performance.
Well, we haven't yet got the results of the debate, because they're down to the last two. They're in the final against the USA.
To get themselves to the final, they did a great job.
They're in the final against the USA this evening, so hopefully we'll come up with the result from that, which will hopefully be positive. And I think all of the competitions they've been in, it's a great diverse competition. You've been very much involved, you've been mentoring these guys, so you'll know a lot more than me, but some of the competitions are quite bizarre. But
they've had all sorts. They have had absolutely all sorts, you know, from even being marked on how well they put across their culture.
Yeah. Right
the way through social media bits. By the way, anyone listening, if it's still running, for God's sake, vote for these guys on the social media. It would do
can we do that? Okay.
If that's still available, and you know, the on the one hand, it's a diverse series of competitions. On the other hand, we wouldn't have picked those 4 guys to come here and do this if we didn't think they were fit for it.
Yeah, sure.
And they are. They're fit for it.
Yeah, well, as I said, I've spoke to a couple of Australians on here earlier on, and they said, you UK guys, they hit it out the park. So we're waiting now to see just where they get to. It'd be nice to see if they can get into a top 3 or top 5 finish. Would be great. And they're great representatives and ambassadors for the breed, or for our own countries.
Absolutely. And the opportunity this gives them to grow and to meet contacts from all over the world. You know, it was quite interesting speaking to them earlier on when they were talking about that, whereby one of them had said, when one of the other nations parents had said to them, well, you know them. And said, we know them all, and they all know each other. Yeah. And you've got everything from Indonesians through Czechs to the more known names all here competing, and it is just fantastic to see.
No, as you said, they'll forge links, it'll stand them in good stead for life, but the whole thing will stand them in. I mean, it's a fantastic opportunity, isn't it? And when I'll go on to the youth development program, obviously is under your umbrella, and fantastic that is. They brought these guys through, and we've donated a bit of money towards that from the sales of our Angus history book. But that is just been it's the envy of everybody else, isn't it? It's a superb thing.
It's a jewel in the crown, Andy. You know, I love to see what we're doing there and getting those young folks and really preparing them to go out into the world. You know, there's so many different elements of being a stockman today, and you know, we're looking to try and help these guys just take that big step.
Let's just give a wee plug for it as well. Obviously, Niall Lynch is behind the young Angus, the young breeders, but they quote themselves now as young breeders, but not just Angus. I think you don't have to be an Angus enthusiast to join the youth development program.
No, not at all. And I think it's really quite fantastic to see the diversity of the breeds represented coming forward to the workshops and to the finals. And you know, you even look at Stephanie Dick, you know, a past winner of the thing, a family steeped in Limousin, and yet at the same time coming along and delivering.
And then end up buying a few Angus.
And then end up buying a few Angus, which, you know, there's always a wee bit of silver lining hanging about there as well, Andy.
Yes, indeed.
But it's great to see that whole thing come all the way through, and it's not just about an Angus person; it's about developing young folks and bringing them forward into the industry.
And 20 years of running, I think now, or nearly 20 years.
This year is year 20.
The YDP. So, you young listeners out there, if you want to get involved in this, then please just look up the YDP, the Youth Development Program, and get yourself in wherever. There's easy ways into this, and
there's workshops all over the country, Andy.
You don't have to be a farmer, you don't have to be a cattle breeder. You just have to have an interest in that, and you'll learn, and it'll grow you. So there's a great opportunity out there, and it's not going to cost you anything. So let's give that a little bit of a plug there.
I'm more than happy to plug. And I think that it's not just for, you know, it's for ages 8 right the way through, right up to 24. So there's opportunities for all ages of youth.
And people will say there's young farmers out there, but this isn't like the young farmers. This is a lot more.
It's a more specific piece around cattle and showmanship and that whole breeding piece going forward.
Yeah, brilliant. Well, Robert, we're coming towards the end of this expo now. You'll be up at the forum next week, of course, and or later on this week, should I say there? But you're doing a great job here. We're doing a great job here, I think, and we're enjoying ourselves. So we'll close it with that. And thanks for talking to me.
Thank you, Andy. Been good.
So from one CEO to another, I just spoke to Robert Gilchrist, and now I've got the CEO of Australia, Angus Australia. That's Scott. Right, Scott. Nice to speak to you.
Oh, good to be here. Yeah.
Well, congratulations to you, I have to say. Congratulations to you and everybody in Australia, but everybody certainly, Angus Australia. It's a monumental event you've put on here.
Oh, it's been huge. It's blown our minds. 3,000 people through the gate. I think we'll get 1,000 in Brisbane as well, the forum. It's been great, the positivity this afternoon, the cattle, 500 head of cattle on display, a lot of exhibitors. It's been the biggest event Angus Australia has ever held, and we're pretty chuffed with the result.
Yeah, brilliant. And you've brought a lot of people in from all around the world as well. This is a great advert for Australia and Australian Angus too.
Oh, look, great. I think all told about 300 guests from overseas in different ways. That's including New Zealand. But look, great showcase for the breed. We hope people go home and maybe think about using Australian Angus genetics going forward around the world.
No, that's brilliant, and there is. We were talking. There's sort of a shift maybe in the tectonic plates of the way exports have been done at the moment. Maybe a little bit more interest from China and that side of it. So yeah, there's a lot of opportunity still.
Oh, look, big opportunity. And after the World Angus evaluation, I think the surprise for a lot of people was how well our Angus population in Australia ranked in terms of especially marbling, but also fertility and structural traits, and a lot of comments on the docility of our cattle over the last few days.
Right, no, that's brilliant. Well, it's an absolute pleasure to talk to you, and congratulations again. It's been just a wonderful event. Thank you.
No, thanks for being here. Great to have such a good contingent from the UK.
Thank you. So later on the second day, I managed to catch up again with our British and Irish Lions team of youths, and this time they'd done really well through the heats and managed to get themselves into the final of the debating competition, and it was going to be the British Lions against USA, so taking the Americans on pretty much at their own game. And they were posed with a question that said, farming is now out of reach, or getting into farming is now out of reach of the youths, and they had to debate the subject. The Americans were debating for the subject. The British and Irish Lions were debating against it, saying that there is still a chance for farmers to get into farming, and all three of them did very well, and the Americans, absolutely slick, like lawyers from LA, gave a compelling argument, and very slick they were, but our guys put some sound arguments together, and here now you'll hear the wrap-up of James, the fourth one of those, telling the judges how he thought that farming was still within the reach of the younger generation.
And final speaker, James. Can we give him a round of applause?
Judges, may I be so bold and show our optimism by using a quote from one of the most iconic speeches in the history of our American opponents. I have a dream. Without a dream, the people perish. Every night, children around the world close their eyes to dream. I can remember dreaming of owning a farm as a child, and someday I will make that dream happen. A farm isn't like owning your own car. A farm isn't like owning your own house. Farming is a way of life. Farming is the key to life. No farmers, no food, and no future. Young farmers all over the world are putting their own stamps on farms and ranches as we speak. Look where we are today, the World Angus Youth Challenge. Let me just remind the motion what the very competition is that you're competing in. It's a competition designed to bring many young farmers from around the world together to learn skills for when they own their own farming business. Last night, this very team, USA, competed in the Stockman's Challenge, a challenge designed to push young farmers to our limits. Owning a farm will push all young farmers to their limits, and still, millions of young people have reached out and grabbed the opportunity with open arms. My father, and indeed my grandfather at home, still class themselves as young men today. I would like to motion to tell them otherwise. Good luck. Age is just a number. We are as young as the passion in our heart. The passion in a farmer's heart will never die. Tonight, that very statement, any argument for the motion. A motion that has been banded around with no substance. Judges, ladies and gentlemen, before I close, I want to leave everyone here this evening with a very moving thought. From the creation of time, Adam and Eve were tasked with the stewardship of creation. So who are we to say we own it? Thank you.
So now let's hear what the judges have to say about that bold statement.
Moving to the wonderful British and UK team, I just thought, Ellie, I mean, the accent is wonderful. The way you presented was so confident. It really brought us all in and gave us a really great understanding of different opportunities out there and left me with some hope. Graham, again, I thought that your respectful smack talk, as I wrote down, was wonderful. I thought the reference to the Rabobank presentation was also very well played, my friend. Tip of the hat to you. I think that, John, you also did a great job of talking about things from an Irish perspective and brought home Strong by James with some very compelling speeches. So today, given all of the points, we would like to remain optimistic and award the debate.
A few minutes later, I caught up with James and the successful team. So we've just witnessed you there winning the final of the debating competition. How does that feel?
It's amazing. We were up against the Americans. Unbelievable competition. It was neck and neck. The judges went right down to the wire, but it's great to see that we were able to get over the line. We were literally just saying there as a group that 12 months ago we wouldn't have been able to get up and speak in a room with one person, never mind a sail ring in Australia. So it's hard. No, I'm lost for words. We've enjoyed every minute and it's been a great experience.
You weren't lost for words though, James, out there. I mean, you absolutely nailed it at the end, but all four of you took it on just beautifully, and you put those guys to bed. I mean, debating, I think maybe the trump card was maybe the trump card that started to turn the corner there, but a brave move to take that one on, but brilliant wrap up as well.
Yeah, well, thanks very much. I think the best means of the defence is attack, and we sort of backed ourselves and we said we would chance it.
You guys, congratulations to all of you there. You just pulled out a magic job there, and just how does it feel to take the Americans out of their own game?
It's tremendous, to be honest. I think it's just, as James touched on, I think from a public speaking point of view, me and John just probably wouldn't have been as confident, but just the training that we've done over the last 12 months, the transition to come over here and the things that we've been placed in front of us, I think it's developed us as people, and it's a once in a lifetime opportunity that's going to benefit us for life.
Yeah, I think like it's just the whole experience as a whole has been life changing, to be honest. And I think we're very fortunate within Ireland and the UK to have such a good youth development program that was fit to get this through and select people and give us a chance to go to Australia. I think we're grateful for that eternally.
It's nice that you do pay homage to the YDP because it's a great organisation, the envy of a lot of other countries as well. So Ellie, congratulations to yourself. You speak beautifully.
Thank you very much. I think it's a true testament to the trainers that we've had across this year training programme. We practiced our debating when we went to Rosemead to Angus Stobbold, and I think he gave us some great tips. It was also great to have such great support in the crowd around us today from everyone at home, and unbelievable.
Well, brilliant. Congratulations to all of you, as I said, and I wish you luck there tomorrow, and then have a great week there out camping with under the snakes and the spiders out there in the bush, and I hope you get the great result, the result that you need.
Thank
you very much.
Well,
cheers. So there we heard the British Lions youth team there winning that debating section, but there's a lot of competitions, as James said earlier on, and it'll be a while yet before we know how they fared in all of them. But again, we wish them luck from Top Lines and Tails, and I'll hopefully give you the results shortly about how they fared in that competition. And so that's a wrap from a live broadcast here from Tamworth in New South Wales in Australia. I'm going to have a few days R&R staying with my friends now out in the bush, and we're going to be sleeping outside under the stars, I believe, because they haven't got round to building their house yet. And I really should elaborate on that Mike and Jane, second time farmers who've moved back to New South Wales and moved down from Brisbane to a place near Tenterfield and bought themselves 100 acres and some Angus cattle, which are in a delightful spot here, and they built themselves a barn, but they're still waiting on the planning permission to get that house built there. But it's a great spot here underneath the stars here in Tenterfield. But thanks for listening in to this week's live episode of Top Lines and Tails. As always, we'd like to mention our sponsors and give them a big thank you there. Harbro, and Harbro, of course, are suppliers and manufacturers of high-quality nutrition and also great advisors and purveyors of nutritional advice. So make sure that you pop down to Harbro and give them a big thank you from us, and pop down to your local Harbro store, or look up Harbro online and find out how they can help you in your livestock business. Testing mic, mic testing. And I really should elaborate on that Mike and Jane, second time farmers who've moved back to New South Wales and moved down from Brisbane to a place near Tenterfield and bought themselves 100 acres and some Angus cattle, which are in a delightful spot here. And they built themselves a barn, but they're still waiting on the planning permission to get that house built there. But it's a great spot here underneath the stars here in Tenterfield.